going to hear from a group of people representing the 4 primary Scottish heritage organizations here in the Washington metro area. Now, some of you are from here and you know about these groups, many of you are from out of town, and we want to tell you about them, not because we're special here, but because these organizations have a history of cooperating, supporting each other, publicizing each other's events, promoting membership across organizations, which is not the way it's done everywhere in the country. As you know, very many Scottish organizations are siloed. There's competition among them in their locales, but here things are pretty different. So I'm going to ask some people to come up front who represent these organizations. Greg Heyman, who is the president of the St. Andrews Society of Washington, D.C., Alex Duncan, who is the vice president of Virginia Scottish Games Association, Tracy Morton and Heather Mackenzie Haddock, who are co-chairs of the Scottish American Women's Society. And I'm going to speak about the National Capital Tartan Day Committee, of which I'm an officer. James Morrison, who's our secretary, was going to be here, but he got caught up in some complications with the Clan Morrison Society that's having an event here in Washington this weekend.
Most of you have met me before, and I'm pretty short. So, but I think the big thing is that because St. Andrews has been around for 250-ish years here in DC, we have the option and the great benefit of we know a lot of the other folks involved with the other organizations, and they have, over time, spun off from St. Andrews. Tartan Day was started by us. SAWS was an idea that came from us. So it's been a great benefit that we've been able to link those organizations because we knew the players on the front end. So that kind of sets the groundwork. So how do we go forward from here? Is that we stay in contact with the other organizations. We cross-advertise their events. They advertise ours, we advertise theirs. We try to engage everybody on a continuing basis so that we're not siloed and we don't end up with 3 organizations having an event on the same day. So that we try to work that way so that it gives us some continuity. And we talk regularly, just sort of kind of like what's going on with your group, what's going on with ours, and how can we engage with you so that we all benefit from it. So that's kind of the big thing, is that we've reached out. And even with the new members coming in to the organizations, is that we incorporate them into our thought process and our engagement, so that we're not, everybody in their own little silo and nobody knows what else is going on. So again, that's one of the things that we've looked at is, in using a phrase that I've heard a couple of times over the last couple of days, in breaking down those barriers to entry, so that we get engagement and we talk to each other and we don't just try to stay in our own little cell and, kind of do our deal. So that's kind of what, as far as on the St. Andrews side, is that we are engaging with the other groups. We talk to them. We know them. We see them at the Virginia Scottish Games. We see them this weekend at the parade and at this event. So that's been the big push, is that we know who the players are and we engage with them. So that's been and the takeaway is, if you're not talking with the other groups, talk to them. Send them an email, give them a call. They've all had their shots, so they'll talk to you. So, make the first step forward in that engage. And if they don't return your call the first time, you call them up again. So you're kind of a pain. But you do get at least starting the groundwork of engagement. So that's been what our focus has been, in that reaching out to other groups, reaching out as they have new members come in who don't know us, but they need to know us and we need to know them. So I'm going to release Heather.
So I think actually I'm going to
go first?
Yeah, I think since Tracy and I are co-chairs for the Scottish American Women's Society, I think the part she has to say first will make sense first. So I'm going to pass it on over to Tracy.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks,
You
Greg.
covered a lot of ground for us, so thank you. So SAWS was founded in 2017 with the help of St. Andrews Society. So we just had our 6th anniversary this year, so we're really excited about that. We're still very small. We have 70 members and we're in 6 different states. So we're just not here in the local area. We have other people in other states for us too. We have 2 types of memberships. We have full membership in Scotland. And then we have an associate membership for people who just have the love of Scotland, but just can't make that connection back to Scotland. They're always welcome in our society as well. Our mission is to celebrate and learn about the Scottish culture and history, how Scotland and America play a part in American history as well. So, and there's been a need for, several people have asked, what about the children? And so we are developing a children's society for Scotland for, parents in our organizations. Their children can be brought up in it and be a part of the games and in our societies as well. So I'll turn it over to Heather.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. I think some of the things that we've been really successful at collaborating on have been our events. Something we do every month on the 2nd Saturday is we have a Dames and Drams program. Some of them are virtual, but some of them are in person. And we've actually been able to collaborate with the Scottish government on that. So thank you so much. Some of those examples would be, they've really fostered and connected us to some Scottish industries. That includes Dovecot Studio, which was a tapestry weaving studio. It's an active, they have an active weaving studio. And right now they're featuring a Scottish women's artist exhibit. And we were able to get an exclusive virtual tour. So that's just some of the ideas that might help some of your groups grow. Let's see, we got the Hebridean Baker. He was here for a book tour and they connected us and we had a great time, and he's actually become a really good friend of our society. So thank you again for that. Future events that we're working on with them include some of the women founded and run distilleries. Examples would be Gin Bothy, or I'm going to butcher it, Nicknean Distillery. And one of our other things is we have a fledgling scholarship opportunity that we're working on. We're a little bit smaller than our brothers, but we're getting there. So we have a scholarship opportunity that we've actually launched this year. So we're excited about that. I think that covers it for us. So I'll hand it over to my good buddy Alex here.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alex Duncan, and I'm the Vice President of the Virginia Scottish Games Association. And despite John's best efforts, I'm still a nervous public speaker, so bear with me.
You're going to be great.
I know. One of the things I'm most proud of is that we, as the Virginia Scottish Games, are very much a part of the Scottish community pretty much everywhere in this area. We were founded in 1973 by pretty much St. Andrew's Society as part of the City of Alexandria's birthday celebrations. We have since gone on to be affiliated with a whole bunch of things, which I have a list of. I don't want to miss anybody. St. Andrew's has been instrumental and still sponsors us, and they're active participants in the games themselves. The Royal Scottish Country Dance Society, because we have a member of them on our board and they are active within the games themselves with a tent and dancing every year. The Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club, Alexandria School Highland Dance. A number of us have done a number of things outside. I've worked on whiskey tastings for the National Capital Tartan Day. Heather and I are both very active in the Mid-Atlantic Scottish Athletics Association. We're obviously also involved in the Scottish American Women's Society. And one of the things that we are actively trying to do is bring the Women's World Championships in athletics to the Virginia Scottish Games next year. We'll see if it happens. It's our 50th year. We're kind of hoping that that'll give us an edge in, but we're patiently waiting to hear from them. And I don't know what else to tell you about how we've collaborated, because that's pretty much all that we do. We enjoy collaborating. I think that between all of the board members this year on the games, we cover pretty much everything. And actually, looking at Mark in the back of the room, our new collaboration is we're working with Washington Tattoo to get both of us a little bit more publicity in different areas. Looking at Chris, we've worked with Bex. Bex is taking care of me with whiskey tasting and helping me with contacts for that. There's a lot that we do. There's a lot of people that we're in contact with. If people want help, you can find virginiascottishgames.org. and reach out to us, and we're happy to help in any way we can to give you information on how to collaborate with the people around you, because we have a good time in it.
Shameless plug. All you ladies out there, you've obviously got something Scottish going on, so you can check out scottishwomendc.org and join our team. Thanks, Tom.
I'm going to say a little bit about the National Capital Tartan Day Committee, which is the kind of fourth leg of the stool here inside the Beltway, if you will. It was founded in 2002 because there's a Friends of Scotland caucus in the House of Representatives in the Congress, one on the Senate side too, but the one on the House side is especially engaged with the public, very outward facing. As you know, there's Tartan Day is celebrated on 6th of April every year, the anniversary of the Declaration of Arbroath. There's a link there. There's standing resolutions by the House and Senate to support Tartan Day as a national holiday for American Scots and everybody else who loves Scotland. And here in Washington, we celebrate a Tartan Day because the Congress is here in a way that involves them. So the National Capital Tartan Day Committee was founded to kind of spearhead Tartan Day events in Washington. And we interfaced with the caucus in the Congress. We have a reception, usually on Capitol Hill. That kind of broke down when COVID came along, but we hope to be back up there in the next year or so. And put on a number of other events. Now, we were spun off by the St. Andrews Society in 2002, which had originally for a few years kind of sponsored that activity. And then the view was this is a big enough activity, it needs to stand on its own 2 feet. So we spun it off, created a separate tax-exempt corporation, and that's the way it is today. But a lot of people from the other organizations sit on our board. So there's collaboration there as well. Virginia Scottish Games was started by the St. Andrews Society, but they viewed that as a separate activity and spun it off and became its own corporation, as Alex mentioned. In other communities, the St. Andrews Society holds on to the games and sponsors the games. That's not the way it's done here. And I think in retrospect, it was very wise that we let them do their own thing in their own way. They're now no longer in Alexandria. They were for a while, but now they're out in the Virginia countryside at a much bigger venue and more people, much more successful. It's one of the largest 2 or 3 day games on the East Coast. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's a big success story. So there you have a bunch of organizations who have their separate missions, but there's a lot of interface. Heather's husband, Travis, is the membership chairman of our St. Andrews Society. She keeps him on the straight and narrow. And that's kind of typical. There's a lot of cross-fertilization there. That's the story. We think it's a good story to tell, and there's some best practice there for other folks elsewhere. Anybody have any concluding thoughts? Talk to each other. Yes. Get to know folks in your other Scottish heritage organizations. Share ideas, share best practices, share contacts, and work with the Scottish government. I mean, we're very fortunate that we're here in Washington and the embassy is here and Scottish Affairs Office is here. And from the time Susan Stewart, their first representative, showed up here, we have worked with them about all sorts of things. So that's a kind of a special treat we have here in the Washington area to be able to see them and work with them all the time. Go down the street and see them on a regular basis, and they come and see us as they are doing today. Okay, thank you all very much.